Well, I'm so excited to be here. My name's Dr. Erin Gallardo, and I'm a neurologic physical therapist, and I've been specializing in working with people with Parkinson's and other neurologic conditions for the past 18 years. When I was in PT school at Ohio University, the second year of our program was completely dedicated to neuro classes. And it was when I first started taking those classes that I knew I was exactly where I was meant to be. I grew up in a really small town in Ohio, and my granny and papa lived in an even smaller town in Indiana about an hour away. And one time when they were visiting us when I was a little kid, I asked my granny, how come papa takes such little steps? And there were other things too. He had a tremor, and he moved a little bit slower. He had Parkinson's disease. And when he was first diagnosed, he wanted to know what to do. He wanted to understand what was going on and how to help himself. And his daughter, my Aunt Jane, had studied nursing in school, and she was an adult by this point and had moved out of the house, but she had some old textbooks up in her room. And he went up there and pulled out an old nursing textbook and opened up the chapter on Parkinson's and was like, let me learn what I need to know. But in that book, it was immediately clear that it said Parkinson's was an untreatable and incurable disease. Now, I hope you all know that that isn't exactly true. While yes, there isn't a cure yet, there's actually a lot that you can do to live a better life with Parkinson's. And when you do these things, you can still chop vegetables for yourself to cook a meal. You can walk in crowds at Costco. You can play a day of golf. But when my papa read that nursing textbook, that outdated book, he didn't know any of that. And so his hope was gone. You see, back when he was diagnosed, we didn't know the things that we know now, the things that can help people. And so living with Parkinson's was really challenging for him and for my family. I remember going to visit them on breaks during my PT school, and I would help my granny with him in the bathroom. And he really did not like that. Imagine your grandchild helping you stand from the toilet. But it didn't have to be that way, and it doesn't have to be that way now for people living with Parkinson's. Because once you have access to the expert level therapy and exercise, nutrition, supplements, the lifestyle changes, Parkinson's can look completely different. The treatments today can literally change the neural pathways in your brain. They can change the way the disease progresses, and so things don't degenerate as quickly. There's actual science and imaging that shows that this is possible. Which means if you have Parkinson's and you get treatment, you can have less tremor, you can stand taller, you can walk faster, you can be an active participant in your life for much longer. And this is exactly what I've seen in my 18 years as a neuro-PT. When I met Russell, I was working with people with Parkinson's one-on-one and in exercise classes. And when he described what Parkinson Wellness Fund was doing, I knew I had to be a part of it. I knew that this was one of the best things that could happen for people with Parkinson's. You can have the best insurance in the world, and it's just not going to pay for everything that you need in order to live a healthy life. You need to get access to more things than just what that's going to cover. So I had been doing exercise classes and one-on-ones with people using their insurance or cash. And it was really difficult for people to get access to the amount of things that they needed to live the healthiest life possible. So the research says that they should be exercising 5 to 7 days a week. And that's just not going to happen with insurance. We all know that insurance just doesn't want to keep us healthy. It's not really its purpose. So a lot of people had trouble doing that, and they were also a lot of people on a fixed income. So they couldn't afford the exercise classes. the supplements, the massage, the nutrition, the other equipment and things that would really help them. But Parkinson's Wellness Fund could. I used to work with a patient that I'll call Bill, and Bill had freezing of gait, which if you're not familiar with it, it's when your feet feel like they're glued to the floor. So imagine you're going to stand up from this table and try to take a step, and your feet don't move. That's what it is, and that's a common symptom in Parkinson's. And certain things make it worse, like if you're rushed or if you're in a tight space. And so Bill used to freeze really bad at the elevator. And he would attempt, the door would open, he would attempt to step in, and his feet wouldn't move, and someone would be holding the door, and it's beeping, and it was just very, very stressful for him. He was only coming about once a week for therapy with his Medicare, and I felt like he would really benefit from more times coming to exercise classes too. So he did, and in just 6 weeks of coming to exercise classes in addition to therapy, he made more progress than he had made in 6 months of just once a week. He made so much progress that the elevator no longer stopped him. He was able to get into it without freezing gait anymore, which really opened up his world for him. Then there's another patient that I'll call Roger, and his problem was basically the opposite of Bill's. When he started going, his steps got so small and fast that he could not control himself. He couldn't stop where he was going unless something or someone stopped him. That's called festination. When Roger first came to see me, his knees and his head were all banged up, and I was like, oh my God, what happened to you? He told me he had just gone into Target, and his steps got so small and fast that he couldn't stop himself, and he ran into the end cap and just destroyed it and hurt his body, and they had to call the paramedics. It was like so stressful and hard. So we had a lot of work to do. So I got started with him working in therapy and in exercise classes, and he made so much progress. He was able to start controlling his festination and his gait. Because before, he was limited. He really couldn't leave the house. It was too dangerous. He was going to hurt himself. But he got to the point where he was able to go on vacation with his sister to Hawaii. And before that, it was just out of the question. He was never going to be able to do something like that because they were way too scared of him crashing into someone or something. And then there's someone else I remember, and her name was Eileen, I'll say. She was a very vivacious and fun and super outgoing, amazing person. She loved getting together with her friends and going shopping and drinking wine. And she was diagnosed with Parkinson's in her 80s. But her goal was to live into her 90s, and she didn't want to give up on her life. She didn't want the diagnosis to stop her. But she was living on a fixed income, and it was really difficult for her to get access to the things that she needed. She was coming to classes or to one-on-one therapy using her Medicare, but it only covered so much. So a Parkinson Wellness Fund grant covered these exercise classes for her. And because of the access to the additional therapy and classes, she was able to improve so much more and stay active in her life. She was able to go to baseball games with her grandson, get on the floor with her great-grandson, go shopping at Kohl's with her daughter, who, they loved shopping there for a good deal. The support that Parkinson Wellness Fund gave her was so helpful and dramatic. It just gave her access to her life back. And we celebrated that. Her birthday was the day after mine, so every year in the clinic we would celebrate together. We would get a cake and dance and have fun. Unfortunately, she passed away last year at the age of 93, but it wasn't because of her Parkinson's. She lived a full life all the way up until the end. I believe in the power of wellness education so much that I'm actually no longer in the clinic practicing. I started and run an education program for neuro-PTs and OTs, and we have members across the world. It's called Neuro Collaborative. We teach the latest research and treatment techniques that help people with neurologic conditions live better and recover more. And I just know there's so much power in getting this information out there and creating more experts across the country and across the world. Because that really motivates me. The more people you reach, the more lives you can impact. So the reason we're all here today is to support this cause, because there are people living with Parkinson's right now who want to be healthy into their 90s, who want to be able to walk onto an elevator freely, who want to go on vacation and play with their grandchildren. And unlike back in my papa's time, there are people now living with Parkinson's who have had it for 20 or 30 years who are running marathons, doing triathlons, or even just going to the store with their spouse with no problem, because they're doing the things that keep their brains and their bodies healthy. Parkinson's Wellness Fund makes that possible for people. With a supposed degenerative condition, they can live a nearly normal life as much as possible. Parkinson's is no longer a death sentence. The outdated nursing textbook that my papa read back then is obsolete. No one with Parkinson's should ever feel hopeless again. And that's why I support Parkinson's Wellness Fund. And I've had a monthly recurring donation set up for years to them. I believe in this cause so much, and in exercise so much, the power of it, that I'm actually running a 50-mile race next month. 50 miles. And I'm dedicating it to Parkinson's Wellness Fund. You have a flyer on your table. I'm going to be beating myself up out there for 12 hours, you guys. Yeah. I'm doing it for me, and I'm doing it for my papa, and I'm doing it for the people with Parkinson's. And I know that Parkinson's Wellness Fund is helping them directly. I've committed myself to raising $5,000 for Parkinson's Wellness Fund with this run, and I'm under halfway to my goal so far. Since you believe in this cause as well, won't you help me reach my goal of $5,000 tonight?
Plus.
Yes. Let's help Parkinson's Wellness Fund get that much closer to their big goal of raising $5 million to help 10,000 families by donating today. This is the help we can do right now, the difference we can make in people's lives today. So let's do that. Thank you so much.
Great.